Hello and welcome to Steve's Vintage Model Builds. And got another unboxing today. Going back to the more traditional roots, for me anyways. And welcome to everyone. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks to all my subscribers and returning viewers. And if you're here for the first time, hope you have some fun and learn something. So today's Sunday. This came yesterday from our friends at Amazon, and I can already tell, their usual pretty much useless bag, other than to simply cover it. But anyways, yeah, we've already got a squish box here, but that's not on Tamiya. That's on Amazon. And we've got the surprise. How about that? We've got the Tamiya M5A1 U.S. light tank pursuit operation set. And this includes 4 figures. It's 1/35 scale. And their catalog number is 35313. And detailed static display model, accurately reproduced. Bogie type suspension. Weld and bolt details. Mortar, portable radio. 2 types of markings. So yeah, you've got a little mortar team, and I think I'm probably only going to use this guy, and I don't know, we'll see. Actually, I think I might use the radio guy for the Studebaker diorama, and I don't know what I'll do with these guys, but anyways. Okay, and so on the side here, we get a nice picture of the completed model, and all done up. On the outside, all this stuff's in Japanese. You get the details on the inside. And it includes some tools. A pick, axe, shovel, mallet, large wrench. Looks like a crowbar. Holsters, submachine guns, canteens. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then we've got the 3 views. That's better. If I get too close, it gets fuzzy, unfortunately. There we go. And yeah. So that's it. There we go. This is taped. Which is always nice. Box is crushed on the bottom. Let's see here. Hasn't broken the cardboard, but it came pretty close. Okay, but Tamiya packs their stuff pretty well, so I'm not too worried about what's going to go on inside here. A little bit of blistering here, and okay, so get this stuff out. Okay, and we get the Tamiya Tech Tips, which are great for beginners, and I use them to line the bottom of my cardboard boxes I use for spray painting. And we've got our instructions, going to set those aside for now. I guess this is for making the antennae. They have a note here. Use the sprue that's marked with the PS for polystyrene. And that's in using the melt and pull method. You know, I have a little candle, light the candle, and you know, you carefully heat it and slowly pull it apart. Makes great antennae, ships rigging, all sorts of stuff. This will also go to line something. Okay, and the tank itself was tooled in 1977, and we got new parts in 2010. That would be this figure set. It was a different figure set before, and you can tell this is an oldie because you get two separate instruction booklets, one completely in Japanese and one completely in English. Almost completely in English. Okay, so here we go. Set this aside for now. And all right, and so as usual with Tamiya, they've included quite an extensive write-up on the tank. It initially started out as the M3, and it's named after General J.E.B. Stuart, who was a Civil War general, U.S. American Civil War general. And so, anyways, it was designed as a light tank, and it was originally designed for the British as part of the Lend-Lease program, and they used it in North Africa in late 1941, and it performed poorly, or the results were poor, put it that way. It was a combination of tactics. The Stuarts were in many ways superior to the Panzer ones that the Nazi Africa Corps was using, but they had superior tactics, and there were a few drawbacks to the M3 Stuart in particular. The 37mm gun, it was underarmed. It had good armor for the fact that it was a light tank, and although and it was mechanically reliable. It was very reliable mechanically, and drivers liked it because it was a nice smooth ride. It was a Cadillac suspension, and later Cadillac engines. We'll get into that later. The biggest problem for the British in North Africa was that it had a very limited range, and for something that's supposed to be able to, move quickly and screen infantry or support infantry, it was in no position to go up against regular, even medium German tanks. And so, anyways, and also it was the crew space was very cramped, and there were a few issues with it. None of which were really solved by the M5, other than the fact that the Cadillac engines, there were two Cadillac engines added, and they were mostly used by U.S. forces after 1942. And I think what we see here is probably Normandy, or after Normandy. You see the for the hedgerows here. And so, yeah, British drivers called them honeys because they drove nice, and they were nice and smooth, but they were cramped, and in the end, they never really found a real purpose. They did pretty well in the Pacific, because the Japanese didn't have a lot of tanks, and the tanks they had were even lighter armored than these ones, than the Stuarts. But again, the range, that's an issue. So otherwise, it would have been well suited for reconnaissance. They look like a mini Bradley after all. But for reconnaissance, you need to have pretty decent range. So let me check and see what it says here. Okay, and so even the M5A1, like we see here, it had a maximum range cross country of just about 71 miles, which yeah, it's not that great. So especially for something that's supposed to be small and light. So excuse me. Anyways, they ended up being in tank battalions. There would be one company of the light tanks, and then 3 companies of the medium tanks, for the most part. And so they were kind of delegated to those duties. And they did modify them for command vehicles. They modified them for a number of other purposes, and they even put a 75mm gun in one version with an open turret. So they basically turned it. They just used the M3 carriage for the gun and new turret. So as a self-propelled gun. So yeah. So it never really, a lot of them were made. Some were actually also sent to the Soviets under their Lend-Lease program, and the Soviets didn't like them either. 75 miles was nothing when talking about the vast expanses of Russia. And Russians, they like heavy stuff, heavy armor, just didn't fit the bill here. So it went on. After the war, a lot of countries and tin pot dictators bought up the surplus ones and used them, but they were pretty much obsolete and just relegated to screening infantry, and but used in reconnaissance sometimes, but only short range. So yeah, so so that's that. And So we'll get into it here. Okay, so I took a pause there while I removed the Hotchkiss fasteners from the plastic bags, and so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sprue bags. This one has 2. This one has 1. This one has 1. As you can see, it's not a big vehicle. And so this is the top body. You can see the nice detail with the vents there. And the various hatches. Nicely molded, no flash. And here we have one of the old style one-piece tubs. You can see the batteries symbols in there. You could motorize this if you wanted to. There were quite a few of them back in the day that actually came with a motor. And there's one still out there I saw floating around Amazon. Oh, you know what it was? It was the World War I mail tank. And yeah, it was motorized. So yeah, if you don't know, the motorized stuff doesn't work. I mean, if you want to do aftermarket stuff, but yeah, I mean, I had 1 or 2 when I was a young modeler, and they would they would last just a short while, and then they would burn out, so, or just not work anymore. Okay, and so yeah, not super detailed here. Oh, and I should say too, this kit cost $34 Canadian, and that was free shipping, including tax. So. And I know it's a smaller kit, not very complicated. Again, one of the reasons I got it was the figures. And we've got the famous vinyl tracks. And Tamiya's made some sort of attempt to make them look like they are sort of made of metal. And that goes together alright, but it'll have to be held in place. Anyways, they look alright. No worse than a lot of the stuff I've seen. Okay, and next here we have 2 sprues. This one here, it's got the guards at the side. The 50 cal machine gun. Oh, that looks like an antenna there. And various different pieces. It looks like all sorts of different handholds here, little tiny ones. Those will be fun. Yeah, tiny little handholds here or whatever. So, yeah, there you go. tiny part. Oh, here's something. And that looks like it's broken off the sprue, but it's intact. So we'll figure out what's going on with that. Okay, and here we've got drive sprockets and idler wheels. Excuse me. Various armor plates for various parts. This looks like at the top, at the rear. These look like exhaust vents. This looks like at the front. Parts of the bogies. Yeah, nice detailing on the riveting. Boy, they really stand up. Huh. Okay, and this sprue here, this is sprue Z or Z, and it looks like you know, it's the mortar team and those guys. There's the mortar shells, whatever, boxes. There's a carbine. Yeah, so there you go. Okay, and lastly, looks like we got the tank commander here, turret ring, cupola, the gun mantlet, faceplate, I think this is the rear plate. Another machine gun. This looks like a 30 cal here. And then there's the hedgerow, rake, some hatches. This is sprue C. Yeah. Right, there you go. Okay, so not a large kit, but let's see here. So we got a separate instruction sheet here. For assembly of the mortars and the figures. They give you recommended tools, paints required. They give you the Tamiya paint code, They also give you the actual name. And yeah, it indicates here what color to paint it when you see this. And all the way down. Then they give you information on applying the decals. Speaking of which, I don't expect there to be a lot of them, but we'll see here. More Hotchkiss staples. Fasteners. More staples. Ah. Okay, here we go. Yeah, fairly limited here. We've got the stars, the name Victory, as shown here. That's not too original. Anyways, two different numbers, registration numbers, two different unit numbers, a couple different other things, division numbers, and then unit numbers. Nothing spectacular. Okay, so we'll get into the fun bit here. Now, at first glance, it might look like they're doing this a little bit backwards, putting the painting and decals first. But you know, it's going to depend on which version you're going to do. So, I guess whatever. We get our friendly tank driver. Read before assembly. Study instructions. Don't break the parts away. Blah 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 blah. Again, they review colors to be used. Then we get into it. There's no engine here. And yeah, so then you got the sprocket axles here that go in. And the hedgerow rake. Sprockets. Da 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 da. The bogies. Okay, and attaching the wheel assemblies, the undercarriage bits, and then the pieces that go up on top. Shows you detailing on the hatches. Use a heated screwdriver or knife. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And you need super glue or even staples. And they show you how to heat and pull for the, you know. then they give you the painting of this figure. The others is for the mortar team. And they show you what he's supposed to look like sitting up top, both from above, and yeah. And so yeah, and then we continue on here with the turret assembly. And individual track pieces. And finally putting on the turret and the spare wheel. Excuse me. All right, so now it comes down to ratings time, and the criteria I use a 12-point scale, 10 standard points, 2 points for packaging, up to 2 points for the sprues, up to 3 points for the parts, and up to 3 points for the instructions. Each of those categories can get a quarter-point bonus for any wow factors. And also I can award up to a full bonus point for what I consider to be value. And that's not just, the cost of the kit, but also, basically how many hours of enjoyment am I going to get out of building it. And so, and I know it will be enjoyable with a Tamiya kit. Not always with some other kits, but for the most part, yeah, the Tamiya kits, you don't have to worry about that. So, so in this case, packaging it gets 2 points. It's not Tamiya's fault or the that Amazon shipped it in a stupid envelope. Anyways, trying to keep it nice here. Okay, so and the box art is, it's nice. Gives you a good idea of what you're getting. The main subject front and center, and then here, and then kind of ancillary is the mortar team. So just this guy or all of them, however you want to do it, or mix and match. Use these guys for something else. I'm thinking maybe just a little diorama with just them, with with some sandbags around. And anyways, you're drifting, Steve. Okay, so yeah, nice box art and nice details on the side. Unfortunately, to me, it doesn't. They don't give you any English information. You got to get into the box for that. So yeah, so 2 points for the packaging. 2 points for the sprues. They were complete. There was that one piece that broke off, but it wasn't broken. There was 0 flash anywhere that I saw, even on even on the 50 and 30 cal machine guns. So they get a quarter-point bonus for no flash, and I mean no flash. So parts 2.75. The quality of the plastic was good as always. Detail was pretty good. Again, I just a quarter point off for that one piece that broke off the sprue, and the decals are kind of lame. I think they could have done a little better than that, but so yeah, so I'm gonna, between those two things, I'm gonna take off a quarter point. And the instructions were good. Get a full 3 points for that. A nice general service and history notes. They were clear. They were all black and white, but the layout was good. And there was a separate sheet for the mortar team. So that was good. And so that takes us up to an even 10 standard points. And standard bonus points. And I'm only going to give it a quarter point bonus for value here. I expect it's going to be a pretty simple kit to put together. Not a lot of time. A good candidate for practicing some weathering. I like the idea here of this. And I got some AK streaking stuff, and excuse me, and some pigment and so on and so forth. So maybe have some fun with it that way. And like I said, I think I'll probably only do the one figure, but you never know. I enjoy doing them, sometimes just for the sake of doing them. Okay, so yeah, so a quarter point there, $34 and a bit of change. That's okay. It's a small kit. It was, it's the figures that that bump that up. So, anyways, yeah, and so that's it. So that takes us to 10 and a quarter, which is a pretty respectable score. It's an old tooling. It's 1977, so it's held up pretty well. Could be more finely detailed, but at the same time, you know what you're getting. 1977 tooling. Guaranteed to be a kit that goes together nicely, though. Okay, so that's it for this video. Under 40 minutes, amazing. Nice little kit, and is a bit of a honey. Too bad it never really found a role for itself. All right, so thanks again. Thanks to everyone for stopping by and checking things out. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you want to subscribe. You'll get much the same thing as you've got today with this video. All sorts of different subjects, though. Lots of variety. All sorts of different things. So thanks again to everyone who's joined me. And I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye now.